There are no accidents in your path. If you found this message today, it means the universe is guiding your attention to something deeper, something you've been feeling but could not yet name. I am Shi Hing Yi, and in this teaching, we will speak about what it truly means to be chosen, not in a mystical sense that lifts you above others, but in a sacred way that awakens responsibility, clarity, and inner strength. Long before modern psychology or self-help books, the Shaolin monks already understood that the human spirit moves in cycles of awakening. They called it the return of the heart, the moment when your spirit begins to remember its origin. It is that quiet pull you feel, the urge to rise, to become something more aligned, more awake. This is not random. It is the call of destiny. In this video, I will share how Shaolin philosophy reveals that being chosen is not a title but a training. You will learn how stillness sharpens perception, how discipline becomes the doorway to freedom, and how the energy within you, your chi, can be directed to transform doubt into divine certainty. Few ever experience this depth because they seek knowledge outside, not within. Stay until the end, because we will uncover a truth rarely spoken. The same force that forged warriors of peace in ancient China is still alive in you. It has been waiting for your awareness, waiting for this very moment to speak. Every breath you take from now carries the vibration of this message. You are here for a reason. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire, where ancient wisdom meets the awakening of your soul. If you feel this resonance, subscribe and walk this path of mastery with us. There is a language that does not use words, a language written in your breath, your movement, your stillness. The Shaolin call this the scripture of the body. I was taught that before you can read sacred texts, you must first learn to read yourself. The body is not just flesh and bone, it is the living record of your choices, your emotions, your thoughts, every step you take, every tension you hold, every sigh you release. All of it writes another line in the book of your being. In the Shaolin temple, we train not merely to become strong, but to become aware. When a student lowers into a stance, the master does not only watch their form, he watches their mind. Is it scattered, proud, gentle? In that observation, the lesson begins. Through repetition, sweat, and focus, the body starts to speak. It reveals where you resist, where you hide, where you flow. Over time, you begin to see that every ache is a teacher, every movement a verse, every breath a bridge between heaven and earth. The way you stand reflects the way you meet life. The way you breathe reveals how you handle truth. Even stillness becomes alive, vibrating with the quiet rhythm of awareness. To honor your body is to enter your own temple, not to worship its appearance, but to listen to its wisdom. When you bow in training, you bow to this truth that enlightenment does not descend from the sky. It rises from within the body that lives, breathes, and learns. Your body remembers what your mind forgets. Treat it as your first scripture, and it will lead you to the essence that words can never teach. There is a moment between thought and action, a still space so delicate that most never feel it. That space is where life truly happens. The Shaolin masters call it the bridge between heaven and earth. It is not found in temples or mountains, but in the awareness that breathes through you now. Mindfulness, in its pure form, is not about escape or calm alone. It is about seeing things as they are, the full truth of each moment. When you are mindful, you meet life directly, without distortion. The rain falls, the heart beats, the thought arises, and you are simply there, present, unshaken. In the Shaolin path, this awareness is not limited to meditation cushions or quiet mornings. It is woven into every movement, every strike, every step, every breath. A master chopping wood is meditating. A student sweeping the courtyard is training presence. Through this way of living, the body and spirit begin to merge. Heaven and earth meet in the ordinary. Attention is sacred. It shapes the quality of your energy, your emotions, your destiny. When your attention scatters, your power weakens. But when it gathers, like light through a lens, it becomes fire, capable of transformation. The wise do not waste this energy on noise or distraction. They guide it inward, toward stillness, toward mastery. Mindfulness is discipline disguised as grace. It asks you to return again and again to what is real, to your breath, to your posture, to your presence. And with each return, you strengthen the bridge between your human nature and your divine essence. In that alignment, life no longer pulls you apart. It moves through you, effortlessly, heaven above, earth below, and awareness standing quietly in between. In the early hours before dawn, when the world is still half asleep, a Shaolin disciple rises to train. The air is cool, silent, and alive with purpose. Each movement, each breath is a quiet rebellion against chaos, an act of choosing who to be before the day begins. This is the essence of discipline. Most people see discipline as a cage, something that limits pleasure or freedom. But in truth, discipline is the doorway through which freedom is born. The undisciplined mind is easily captured by emotion, desire, fear, and distraction. It reacts, it chases, it escapes, but the disciplined mind pauses. It observes, it acts from clarity rather than impulse. In the Shaolin tradition, training the body is never just about strength. It is about mastering energy, the qi that moves through your thoughts and emotions. When the body bows, the ego bows with it. When the legs tremble from effort, patience awakens. Through this constant dialogue between body and mind, chaos begins to dissolve and control transforms into serenity. Discipline teaches that repetition is sacred. The same movement practiced thousands of times reveals different layers of awareness. What once felt like struggle becomes meditation. What once required force becomes flow. This is not punishment, it is refinement, the polishing of the self until it reflects truth without distortion. True freedom is not the absence of rules, it is the mastery of your inner landscape. To wake when it is time, to speak when it is right, to remain still when it is wise. This is freedom in its highest form. When discipline becomes natural, life stops feeling like resistance, it becomes harmony, the effortless rhythm of a being who has learned to move with the flow of heaven and earth. A Shaolin monk once said, "The hardest stance is not low or deep, it is balance." In the monastery courtyard, students train beneath the morning sun, holding still between motion and rest. Muscles tremble, breath steadies, and in that fragile equilibrium, they begin to understand the wisdom of the middle path. Balance is not a fixed point, it is a living rhythm. It changes with every step, every breath, every season of your life. Too much force, and you break, too little, and you fall. The way of the warrior monk is to sense this movement, to adjust, to flow, to stay rooted while adapting to the shifting winds of circumstance. The ancient symbol of yin and yang is not about opposition, but harmony, effort and ease, strength and softness, will and surrender. These are not enemies, but partners in the same dance. A blade that is too rigid will shatter, one too soft will not cut. True mastery lies in the balance between the two. In the practice halls of Shaolin, students are reminded that mastery is not about doing more, it is about doing what is right. The right action at the right time in the right state of being. This awareness cannot be forced. It grows from patience, from listening, from the quiet discipline of presence. Balance is also the art of knowing when to move and when to be still. Life itself mirrors this rhythm, expansion and contraction, sunrise and sunset, inhale and exhale. When you live in balance, you no longer fight the flow of existence. You walk with it, you speak less, but with precision. You act less, but with purpose. And in this middle part, peace ceases to be a goal. It becomes your natural state. In the quiet hours before training begins, the Shaolin temple rests in complete stillness. No sound of movement, no echo of footsteps, only the deep hum of life itself. This is where true strength is born. Before a single strike, before a single breath, there is silence. It is the invisible foundation behind every visible act. In the Shaolin path, silence is not emptiness. It is presence in its purest form. It is the space where awareness sharpens, where energy gathers, where intention finds direction. The body may be still, but within that stillness, mountains move. The monks call this Chen in motion. the unity of meditation and action. When silence meets movement, the ordinary transforms into art, and every gesture carries purpose. The untrained mind fears silence because it exposes truth. When the noise fades, what remains is yourself, your thoughts, your emotions, your raw being. But through practice, this silence becomes your ally. It steadies the heart and clears the mind until you can hear the faint whisper that speaks beneath all chaos. That whisper is not imagination. It is the echo of your higher nature, the divine voice within. Inner silence does not mean withdrawal from life. It means entering life more deeply. When you move from silence, your actions are precise. Your words carry weight. Your presence alone begins to calm the space around you. The master does not speak often because his silence already communicates everything. To cultivate silence is to hold the universe within your breath, unmoving yet alive. When you can stand in stillness amid the storm, when you can hear the divine between heartbeats, then you understand silence is not the absence of power. It is the source from which all true power flows. In the dim halls of Shaolin, when night falls and the chanting fades, a student is often left alone with the sound of his own heartbeat. There, in that stillness, something deeper begins to surface, the weight of fear, the echo of anger, the quiet tremor of doubt. This is the real training ground, the place where the outer form meets the inner battle. To walk the path of mastery is to face what hides within. The monks say that every shadow you fear to confront is a guardian of light. Your anger holds the seed of clarity. Your fear hides the doorway to courage. Your pain conceals a deeper peace waiting to be uncovered. The discipline of the Shaolin warrior is not about fighting the world. It is about meeting yourself without flinching. In the dojo of life, resistance is not an enemy, it is a teacher. When the body shakes, it teaches endurance. When the mind rebels, it teaches humility. The darkness within you is not there to destroy you. It is there to reveal where your strength has not yet awakened. The one who learns to stand still in the storm does not become hardened. They become clear, rooted, unshakable. Shaolin wisdom teaches that transformation does not happen in comfort. It happens when you are stretched beyond what you believe is possible. When your old self begins to fall away, the iron that becomes a sword must first pass through fire. So too must you pass through your fears to find your true form. You are stronger than you think. Every challenge you have survived has carved depth into your spirit. Every scar is a scripture of growth. The light you seek has always been inside the very shadow you once tried to escape. In the Shaolin tradition, a disciple does not train only for personal glory. Every movement, every hour of practice is an offering to the masters before him, to the students beside him, and to those yet to come. This is the unseen thread that connects all true seekers, purpose that reaches beyond the self. The greatest strength is never owned, it is shared. The monk who perfects a form does so not to display it, but to preserve it, to pass forward the flame of wisdom that has burned for centuries. Mastery in this way is not possession, it is stewardship. When you refine your mind and body, you do it for more than yourself. You do it for the harmony of all who will feel your influence, even in silence. The Shaolin path teaches that self-discipline is not self-obsession, it is self-purification. Through it, the ego softens, the heart expands, and purpose becomes clear. Your actions begin to carry weight, not because they are loud, but because they are true. You become a living example, not through perfection, but through sincerity and presence. In ancient China, the master who reached enlightenment did not retreat into isolation. He returned to the village, to teach, to serve, to live among the people. His light did not blind. It illuminated the path for others to walk. This is the true meaning of being chosen, not to stand above, but to stand within, guiding quietly through being rather than preaching. The unseen thread weaves through all of existence, through breath, through kindness, through legacy. When you align with it, your life ceases to be a personal story. It becomes part of something eternal, a current of service, love, and wisdom that never ends. The greatest rivers are formed not by sudden floods, but by countless drops of water flowing day after day. So too, the path of mastery is built from small, deliberate actions, simple rituals repeated until they become the foundation of your being. Each morning in the Shaolin temple begins with attention to the smallest details. Breath is not taken for granted. It is guided with intention. Posture is not merely aligned. It is observed, refined, made precise. Even the act of bowing, sweeping, or lifting a cup of tea becomes a lesson in presence. These small practices may seem ordinary, but they carry the weight of transformation. Mindfulness check-ins are like tiny lanterns in a dark hall, pausing to notice your thoughts, your energy, your heart's rhythm, even for a few breaths, illuminates what is hidden. Emotional inventory, the honest acknowledgement of frustration, fear, or impatience, becomes a mirror. In these small moments, you build clarity, resilience, and self-mastery, brick by brick. The Shaolin way teaches that consistency, more than intensity, creates change. One conscious breath, one mindful step, one disciplined act repeated daily will shape the mind and body more than any extraordinary effort done sporadically. It is in the ordinary that the extraordinary quietly grows. Choose one small practice today. Let it be your anchor in the currents of distraction and uncertainty. Let it declare to yourself and to the world, I am here, I am awake. In this declaration, power is born not from external achievement, but from inner alignment. Through these micro moments, life itself becomes your dojo. Each day a lesson, each breath a teacher, each act a path toward mastery. The sacred is woven into the ordinary when attention and intention are present. The sacred is not hidden in distant mountains or ancient scrolls. It does not reside in temples built by human hands. The sacred lives within you, quietly waiting to be recognized, felt, and honored. Your body, your mind, your heart, these are the living stones of a temple, each breath a bell, each heartbeat a silent chant. Being chosen is not a gift of privilege. It is a calling to awaken, to take responsibility for the power that already flows through you. The divine does not demand perfection. It asks only for presence, for honesty, for the courage to face yourself as you are. In that confrontation, in that acceptance, the walls of your inner temple begin to rise, strong and luminous. Every thought carries energy. Every intention shapes reality. When you move with awareness, your actions become prayer, your discipline becomes devotion, and your life itself becomes a sacred offering. The Shaolin understood this deeply. Mastery is not in achieving grand feats, but in aligning with the truth that resides inside every gesture, every choice, every breath. Today is not an accident. This very moment is charged with purpose, a convergence of forces beyond your comprehension. Something greater is at work, guiding your steps, testing your resolve, and inviting you into deeper awareness. The path may be quiet and subtle, but it is no less powerful for its silence. You are the living temple. Honor the sacred in your body, in your mind, in your heart. Let your presence radiate integrity, wisdom, and clarity. Walk deliberately, breathe fully, and listen deeply. In doing so, you do not merely exist, you awaken, you align. You become the vessel through which the divine quietly and powerfully moves. You have been guided to this message because you are ready to step into a deeper understanding of yourself. The Shaolin teachings remind us that body, mind, and heart are not separate, they are one living system. Mindfulness is not a practice to be added, it is the foundation of clarity. Discipline is not a chain, but the key that unlocks your freedom. Balance, silence, and service are the pillars that support your true strength. As you move through each day, remember that transformation begins in the small intentional acts. A breath taken with awareness, a moment of stillness, a conscious choice to meet life fully. These are the bricks of your inner temple, the quiet work that builds lasting mastery. You are chosen not for comfort, not for reward, but to awaken, to act, and to illuminate the path before you. Carry this wisdom with gentle determination. Let it guide your steps, your thoughts, and your heart. Let it remind you that every moment holds the potential for awakening and that each day is an opportunity to embody the teachings you have received. May your presence be steady, your mind clear, and your spirit aligned. As you walk this path of self-mastery, know that the sacred resides within you, waiting to be honored and expressed. If this message resonates, join our journey at Shaolin Soulfire. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, and continue exploring the path of inner strength, wisdom, and quiet power. Peace be with you as you awaken to your true self.